Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is October 15th and we got a little bit done today. So you might notice this building here. This is a new building I just built today. My goal today was to get to tier 2 water. I did not make that goal, but we'll get into why here in a second. But so to start the day off, I was kind of debating between building this building right here or kind of over this. So this building is going to be for the water treatment plant, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to use a lot of the catwalk block over some water. So it's kind of debating if I wanted to kind of bridge it across the water here or do it here more up in like the swampier area. It's not like a real swamp, but kind of got that like vibe going on. I decided this part because it felt more natural, at least for the water plants around where I live seem to all be around this kind of terrain. And this area is kind of off limits because I do eventually have a plan for it. So I built it here. The building itself built kind of plain. I figured if I build actual walls for it, I might be more inclined to finish the building cosmetically sooner than later. Unlike, that building, that building, that building, where I have a bad tendency just to build the corners and a roof. So, yeah, I built walls. I did want the back is left open intentionally, kind of, since it's purifying water, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have it like open to nature. And there shouldn't be any structures. I don't plan on building any structures in this direction, so should work out nicely. We'll see. So as for in the building itself, just kind of show. I've shown this a bunch of times, but basically I've been kind of resorting to the same setup whenever I do these kind of sub-networks, so this might be a little overkill. I doubt I used that many channels for this line, but figured might as well just do it right now, and then if I need more, then sweet. So I got a battery set, this guy set up to and connected to the main network. We got our little sub-network with its controllers to be able to do its own P2P network so I don't run out of channels. And then just all the standard stuff, fluid discretionator, some ME drives, some crafting, and a level maintainer should I decide to use it. So, and then connected to the main network with fluid and item storage. So to start off the day, one of the things that kind of held me back for a while was to craft the first step of the line, not including the main purification plant. This clarifier purification unit, you need 16 of these activated carbon filter meshes, which takes 64 of this activated carbon, which in itself is kind of like a little mini line all the way back from carbon dust to phosphoric acid. You basically process it a couple times. That is what, if we were looking at this straight on, this line over. So we start with the carbon in here with some phosphoric acid, goes through the EBF, and then runs through a chemical plant kind of back here. I have a feeling these single block chemical plants, is that the right word? I feel like that's not the right word. But chemical bath. I was like, it's throwing me off. I felt like that wasn't the right word. Are probably going to be like the most common single block I end up using for a lot of the time because the multi-block is just so huge. Like, it would take up so much space over here. But anyway, so runs through there, and then all this is basically to get this carbon mesh, which is the only thing this activated carbon is actually used for. So we got it. This assembler, we need some zinc foil. I get plenty of zinc from bees. I think I have like 100 and something thousand of it. 250,000. But I get it in dust form, and instead of trying to like set up a level maintainer elsewhere on the network and yada yada, just have it depositing the zinc in here, going in to make foil, and then coming down to the assembly line, and then it just the sub-network is putting in the activated carbon, and then we get the carbon meshes out. But you need 16 of those just to craft that first level, which, let's see, carbon mesh. we're at 38, so I actually should be good to craft now. Whoops, clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah, nice. So I don't even have it crafted, but and then the tier 2 I haven't gone through to double check that. I should have everything in here set up. Yeah, everything in here set up. The only thing is I do need to get... Oh, this is the purification plant. Where's the tier 2? This guy. So looking through here, I'm pretty sure I might need to do a couple more just random patterns in here to get rolling, but everything else in here, I know I took care of this 64 amp energy hatch already, but to even be able to craft it, you do need to make at least one cell of the grade 1 and run it through the scanner. So obviously I haven't done this yet. That was the plan goal to get to today, but the other thing I set up was this guy, which is specifically making ozone. So if we were to look at the only recipe this guy can do, you need ozone grade 1 water to make grade 2. This ozone is made through a laser engraver where you take air and throw out ozone. Now with this multi-block laser engraver, it was making, just using one air intake hatch, it was making 14 kiloliters every like 10 seconds or so, because it basically the one air intake hatch was not keeping up. And so it occurred to me, why not try more intake hatches? I didn't know if this would actually work because the kind of the equivalent for water, the water reserve hatch, that never even comes close to ever becoming empty. Maybe there'll be recipes down the line that do, but like 2 billion water is more than I've ever seen you'll need. But yeah, it does actually work. So now with this guy going, if this machine is running, which is not actually running at the moment, despite what this laser's doing up there, is running, I make like 50 kiloliters every 6 seconds now instead. I did end up shutting it off with a level emitter because right now I don't need it, and it pretty quickly was hopping over to, let's see what we got. Oh, that's the wrong one. Got 13 million, so we've got plenty in here. I might actually have to do something to recycle this phosphoric acid or throw a void card on that just in case, if I don't want it shutting down the process later on in the line and forgetting about it. But so this ozone will be ready obviously once I get the tier 2 set up. So then the last thing I did was set up this guy. This is the whole center unit to the water line. The roof's gone over here because I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why this guy would not start. I was a little confused at first because I thought maybe it was because this is, I should say, because the way this guy works is it is going to, this is the only thing in the water line that'll actually receive power, and then you essentially link it to the other multi-blocks. So if you look at the tooltip, or the multi-block structure, it shows both an energy hatch and this wireless energy hatch. Now, I figured this wasn't required because if you look here, this item right here, one, to get here, you need to have a research station, which is a UV recipe, and that's just the EV version. But it was throwing me off because this guy kept saying it was not forming. So eventually I went back to the wiki because I figured I must have missed something. And so if you're ever making this yourself, the thing that is keeping it from crafting is not that you just have the one energy hatch. It is most likely you need to have the 4 water source blocks up here for the centerpiece to get it to turn on. And this does need to be an LUV energy hatch. So it doesn't explicitly say that anywhere as far as I'm concerned. Or as far as I can tell, maybe I'm blind. I'm also pretty sure on the wiki it doesn't say it. I'm actually scrolling and double checking over here. I don't think it does. But yeah, if you have a IV energy hatch here, the block will say it's an incomplete structure. As soon as I swapped it out, it finally turned on. Now the way this works is it links to other multi-blocks, and apparently it only links within a 32 block radius of itself. So I threw this over here because it made sense to me for all the control stuff's over here. This is the central unit, so throw it over next to that. However, I do think as soon as I stop recording, I'm actually just going to immediately tear this down and kind of plop it here, somewhere right in the center here. That way I can set up all the other blocks as I need them on both sides. Because if not, like, this doesn't... It means I basically only have 32 blocks this way for actual usage of this guy. So this is badly placed and it is not going to stay here. As for anything else for the day, there wasn't any like random stuff. Like I said, I spent a while deciding where to throw here. I think the one random thing I did, because I knew at some point I was going to start needing void cards again, and 2.8 seems to have changed the void card recipe to be a little more brutal. You need to make this void storage cell, you do need a singularity. The way I was making my singularities before is I just had a reserve hatch flowing directly into one matter condenser. Instead, I opted to expand that just to get a bunch of singularities rolling, in case I end up mass needing the void cards. But let's see, how many are we at? Oh yeah, I'm already up to 131. I think I was at 40 at the start of the day, so this is obviously quite a bit faster, which is nice if I end up needing them. But I had one reserve hatch and then like a pipe going down, but one of these would take all the water, so I had to do a separate hatch for each one. But yeah, that is basically it for today. Like I said, immediate plans, I'm gonna tear this guy down, throw it somewhere right around right here, make the tier 1, throw down the tier 1 plant, see if I can get to work to be able to craft the tier 2 part of the process, get that going, and then once I have the tier 2 water set up, I'll be able to go back to the netherite line up there, because that's what I'm currently waiting on, is tier 2 water to start processing or make nefarious oil. But yeah, that's basically it for me today. I'm going to get working on this. I hope everybody else has a good night. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.